This Flutter app lets us fetch 5 random words from the internet. It has these red progress indicators that show us how many words we've fetched so far, as well as these blue progress indicators that show whenever the fetching process is going on. Let me show you how to build progress indicators like these in Flutter. We start off with a blank app. There's nothing in this app but a blank scaffold. The first thing we'll do is define the general layout of this app in the body property of the scaffold. So we'll put in a column with text, sized boxes for spacing, and progress indicators. The reason we are having these blue squiggly lines is because currently the editor expects us to have a const keyword for the entire scaffold, since everything as at now is constant. However, that will change when we start fetching data from the internet. So we will not put in that const keyword in for now. And this text widget here is what we'll use to show how many words we have fetched so far out of the 5 that we are supposed to fetch from the internet. So for now, let's comment that out. So let's reload this app and see what it looks like. And here is our reloaded app. We have our title that says 5 random internet words. And then we have these 2 progress indicators that are just running. And this is the default behavior of the progress indicators. These 2 are supposed to show us how many out of the 5 words we've fetched so far. So we are going to modify them to give us that specific information. Let's start making changes to our app. The first thing we'll do is create a list which we'll call random words list. And this is the list in which the words we've fetched from the internet are going to be stored for display. The second thing we'll do is define the specific URL where we're going to fetch our random words. So we're going to call it random word URL. And we are going to be fetching these random words from a website called randomwordapi.herokuapp.com/word. Let's visit the website just to have a feel for how it works. Let's type in the URL. And we see that when we visit this URL, we get this word handlers. If we reload this web page, we get a different word. And that happens each time you visit this website. So this is what we're going to be doing, but we're going to be doing this from inside our app. So let's close this browser window and then minimize this section so that we can see our code nicely. And then let's put in this URL. For now, let's stop this app. It's a bit distracting. The next thing we're going to do is write the function that will be fetching these words from the website we've just visited. In order to make these API requests, we need to import the HTTP package. Let's go check out this package on pub.dev. Here on the pub.dev website, let's type in HTTP. And this is the specific package that we want to use in our app. If we go to the installing tab, we can see that we can get this package by using this command flutter pub add HTTP. So that's what we're going to do inside our terminal. Let's go to that. We close this window, then go to this menu, terminal, new terminal. So let's type in our command flutter pub add. And our process is now complete. We can close this terminal and go check out our pubspec.yml file. Under our dependencies, we can see that HTTP has been added. So let's go back to our main.dat file and import that package first. And we're going to import it as HTTP so that we can easily refer to it. Now let's create our function from fetching the random words from the website. Let's minimize this. We're going to add this function underneath this URL, and we will call this function fetch random word. This function will be a feature that returns void. And this will be an asynchronous function. And in this function, we're going to use the try catch block, just in case we have any issues or errors while running this function. So let's start with the try block, and in here we're going to use the HTTP get method. The next thing we'll do is add an if statement where if we get an okay response from the website, Then we add whatever word has been sent to us to our list of random words. When we get this response, we need to decode it because it comes in JSON format. To decode JSON data, we need to import .convert. And so to get our random word, we will decode the body of this response. Once we've decoded this response, we need to add the word inside the response body to our random words list. And we'll use a setState function so that our app rebuilds to show our fetched words. The reason I've added these brackets is because the website returns an array. Let's just go back to the website. When we visit this site, you see that we get back an array with a single word inside. And so that's why we are putting in these square brackets so that we extract this word from the array that we just fetched and add it to our random words list. The next thing I'd like to do is add a boolean that is true whenever this fetching process is going on and turns to false whenever the process is finished. We'll create that boolean right below this function and we'll call it loading. By default, we'll set it to false. Then whenever we run this function, we'll set it to true. And finally, after adding this fetched word to our list, we'll set this boolean back to false. So let's set it to false here at the end of this process. Now moving on to this catch section. For now, we will not have any specific error handling, so we'll just put the forward slashes for comments here for now. Let's now move on to our linear progress indicator, the one that was displaying continuous progress when we ran this app. Now we want to change this indicator to show us how many words out of the 5 we have fetched so far. And we'll do that using the value property of this progress indicator. This value property takes a double between 0 and 1. And that is why we are passing in this fraction, which is the length of the list so far, divided by 5. So if we have 2 words in the list, this will be 2 out of 5, and that fraction is what will be displayed by this progress indicator. The next thing we'll do is change the background color as well as the color of the indicator itself, and then set the minimum height of this progress indicator to 10. Think of this height as the thickness of the indicator. We'll do the same thing for our circular progress indicator. It will use the same value, the same background color, and the same color of the indicator. And I'm doing this so that we can see both these indicators at the same time, so that we can see the differences between how these two display this information. The next thing we'll do is display these words that we have just fetched. And for this, we are going to use a for loop. And for each word in the list, we are going to return a card inside of which we have a centered text widget that has the word itself. Let's save this. Next, we're going to add the button that will run our function for fetching the random words. But we are only going to show this button if our list has less than 5 words inside and if the loading process is false. That is, we do not have any loading that is going on. So we're going to use an if statement for this. We're going to style this button to make it red with white text. As a child of this button, we're going to have a text widget that says add random word. And in the onPress property of this button, we're going to have a setState function that first changes the value of the loading boolean to true, meaning we have loading that is going on. And second, it runs the fetch random word function. Let's save this. And the last thing we're going to do in this app is add progress indicators to show whenever the fetching process is going on. So we're going to use an if statement that checks whether loading is equal to true. And if loading is true, we want to see a card inside of which we have a column with our two progress indicators, one being the circular progress indicator and the other being the linear progress indicator. Let's save this. Now we're going to run our app. But I want you to take note that these two progress indicators have no specifications. We have not defined any properties of these two progress indicators. However, for these other two, we have defined the value, background color, and color properties. So those definitions are what are going to bring about the difference between the behaviors of these progress indicators. So let's go to this menu, run, start debugging, and our app has now been built. I'll go ahead and close this window because we don't need the dev tools for now. Here's our app, and here is our linear progress indicator for showing us how many words we fetched so far, and our circular progress indicator for showing us how many words we fetched so far. So if we click on this add a random word button, we can see that our progress indicator shows some progress. And one thing we need to add is the text for showing us how many words out of the 5 we have fetched so far. And that is this text widget right here. So let's uncomment this and add some text to it. Let's add some styling to increase the font size and font weight as well. Let's save and rebuild this app. Now we can see that we have 0 out of 5 words fetched. If we click on this button, we can see that we have fetched 1 word, and that shows in our progress indicators and this text here as well. If we click on the button again, we can see the blue progress indicators running as the fetching process is going on. And now our linear and circular progress indicators have been updated, and we can keep this going up until we have 5 words fetched. So that's how you build progress indicators in Flutter. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments section below and I will help you out. If you have any other comments, drop them in the comment section as well. And if you have found value in this video, be sure to like it and subscribe to this channel with the notifications turned on so that you get notified each time I upload a new video. This is the Flutter Coach, and I will see you in the next one.